Homicide singer.
This is P.O.C. This is Ontario police who are gang stalking with the people of the state that are always monitoring with the Ontario International Airport, the U.S. military. And so criminal summoning, while I'm publishing the podcast, they're stalking with light, monitoring with the military that's flying over. This is the same P.O.C. They're coming and monitoring. And I am the actual focus, not this demon that's gang stalking me all the time. This is the guys for stalking in the path conspicuously. This is P.O.C. They're driving across the property and they're focusing on someone who's sleeping between the columns. What even drew their attention to him while he's sitting over here? The entity is monitoring me. This is the department that's being shut down. This is POC. This is POC. This is vehicle 1068. This is license plate 1644203. And this is criminal summoning. This is the entity that's stalking me every night and knows exactly where I'm sleeping, and they're engaging in psychopathic behavior, diverting their visual attention to the people of the state, first of all, with whom they're gang stalking. This is POC. And I want to be clear, like I said, when they're, that's engineer light, pay attention to the light activity. He's sitting on the columns and they are driving through, that's the fake moon. This is indeed POC. These are demons, and that's light activity while he has a flashlight on. This is all light activity. While the entity, as you know, is stalking right here. They're going to prison. But this is what I want to show you. The entity is engaging in, first of all, stalking me. This is why the Ontario police are being disbanded. The entity was stalking me by helicopter. This department is gang stalking. These two are going to prison. They're mentally ill. These are demons in engineer light. They're going to prison.
Nice to see you.
Who are you? Who are you?
I don't.
Oh, you don't want? Why you say nice to see me? Who am I? Oh, okay. You're going to prison. That's POC. This is domestic terrorism. This is domestic terrorism. They're monitoring with the U.S. military. They're going to prison. Vehicle 1068, monitoring with the people of the state, 1644203, and they're gang stalking with the people. They just want to come around and monitor me. That's what they want. These are demons that are obsessed with me. They're driving through the Civic Center at what is 10:17 p.m. and using the people of the state as their focal point when they're gang stalking me under the fake moon, where the fake sun rises and sets while the military flies right over targeting. And they're doing so because they're hostile about what it is I'm continuously publishing on the internet. And the Ontario police are being disbanded, committed a series of kidnappings, and you're looking at their mental illness based on their obsession with me. They're pacing right now. And I want to be clear, this is the entity that's holding court hearings. Oh, they're holding court hearings regarding defamation by these stalkers. They're going to prison, gang stalking in the court. They're going to federal prison, gang stalking with this department. They relied on this criminal activity of this department to engage in criminal defamation while they are stalking. This is a demon using the vehicle. These are demons that are manifesting. This is light activity. And this is an act of aggression. And this is, again, those two, that was a male and a female, and they're going to prison. And this is around Paul Leon's office. Pay attention. All this is legally relevant. Paul Leon's being removed from office, being prosecuted as well. This is the entity that knows where I'm sleeping. Okay? Coming in, driving through. Just because you're able to do that, that doesn't mean that it's naturally happening. They're targeting. Okay? They're targeting. They drove through the Civic Center where they know where I'm at. You already know that they're stalking because they're stalking me all night, every day, by helicopter and planes. And the entity is engaging what is driving through the Civic Center after 10 o'clock at night and focusing on this drug addict who was gang stalking me with them. And they're engaging in what is as though the Civic Center area is open. So they're coming and escorting him off when it's not closed. You don't have to get up and leave or anything. You're talking about what is a means of threatening me because they know that I'm sleeping here. And guess what? The entity is gang stalking me at work, interfering with my liberty right, and that's why I'm outside. And before you knew you were going to prison, you thought that that was the perfect master plan. Hazelwood and Owens committing kidnapping pursuant to your criminal acts of interfering with my right to go to work and sleep inside of my apartment, my home, whatever hotel room I have. That is not happening because you're gang stalking me, and you're going to prison for kidnapping. Period. This is the entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct, by the way. This is about the fact that I'm sleeping here and they already know that. And this is the entity that's communicating a threat, and the federal government is aware of that. And the feds are watching, which they also did not know. They thought they were getting away with stalking me. They thought that they were getting away with defaming me. And the federal government has been watching, especially the Ontario police and the military, stalk me and kidnap me and stalk me and kidnap me and stalk me and kidnap me. They've been watching that whole ongoing sequence. That was a threat. Okay? The entities engaging what is monitoring my evidence as I put it on the internet. The Ontario police are not doing anything other than kidnapping. They're not doing anything other than stalking. And they are the reason why I'm sleeping outside. And they also are engaging in nothing other than threatening to commit kidnappings. I'm going to continue to sleep outside because this is where their criminal act has put me, and this is the entity. I want to be clear. You're not holding court hearings and coming around and threatening through the Ontario police is exactly why you're going to prison. That's why you're going to federal prison. You're not conducting any court hearings when you are engaging in kidnapping with these same demons who then you rely on their criminal acts committed in order to engage in what is trying to survey the libelous information produced by the kidnappers themselves. You're going to federal prison regarding the ongoing delay regarding justice. That's going to end up putting you in prison. That's what you get from the Ontario police stalking right now on video. That's the same stalking entity that the entity is relying on when they're holding court hearings. And they literally just engaged in the pattern of conduct stalking by commercial planes, which have no scheduled flights, that are not going to be flying over the city hall. This is the judicially noticed facts that they are engaging in targeting in concert with that department that has committed a series of kidnappings while they were stalking in this exact same manner. And they do so with regard to the intent to retaliate and threaten while they focus on the people of the state who are gang stalking, knowing exactly where I'm sleeping every night, stalking me while doing so. This is P.O.C. Coming in and driving in. This is the entity that wants to normalize, oh, you're over here and we don't know that you're sleeping. That's the P.O.C. Excuse me?
I hope you have a wonderful day.
What? What'd you say?
I said have a wonderful day.
That's Gerber, who's going to prison. That was a different one. This is vehicle 1021. This is the department that's going to be disbanded. This is an entity that's stalking, and this is what happens when a police department is stalking you and you're prosecuting them and you're exposing basically an infestation of demons. This is what happens, and this is why they are being removed from the roads and the highways. They're also being removed from what is the ability to be in law enforcement. This is a threat to your life. This is the pattern of conduct. All right. And this is also why I'm publishing the evidence on social media, because this is the entity that commits kidnappings. And then they lie about what it is that you're guilty of, engaging in what is kidnapping you for violating the municipal code while leaving out the fact that they were stalking and monitoring you at work, which is the inability to provide for yourself, which is literally why they do that. So you're outside so that they can stalk and harass you and target you. All right. That's the entity that's engaging in that POC. That's Gerber that engaged in criminal summoning on March 3rd, 2026. And you're looking at the second Ontario police that are pacing. This is hostility. Mike Lorenz is going to prison. They were stalking me by helicopter in Upland and in Ontario. He's going to prison. And the Ontario police, every single last one of them that are stalking like this, are going to prison. Gerber's driving. His passenger's going to prison as well. This is POC. This is stalking, not law enforcement. And so are they stalking. So coming and focusing on the people of the state and doing so in the environment where you know that I'm sleeping, you're going to prison for threatening me. This is what they don't understand. That's criminal activity. Threatening as a department is criminal. That's a crime that they just committed again on video. This is the entity while you're stalking. In order to threaten me, you're stalking. That's a crime as well. This is the entity that's doing so with the U.S. military. That's, again, psychological torture. While you're doing so with the people of the state, the ones that you commit kidnappings with. Don't forget about the June 16, 2022 kidnapping. All of this is relevant. They're just engaged in more criminal activity on video. That's the pattern of conduct, and they are psychopaths that don't have any self-control. Just like the demons that they are conspiring murder against me with. The demons that are stalking in the commercial plane, which you saw in this video. Okay, this is the prosecution for treason. This is the federal RICO case. This is the federal prosecution for the conspiracy to murder and kidnap, which the Ontario Police Department are the foundational means whereby the U.S. military is kidnapping American citizens through the city police who are gang stalking. All right, and this department is being disbanded for it. This is POC. You just saw the purpose of the people of the state to engage in criminal summoning. This is POC. You're going to look at the social media, my social media, because the entire playlist that's on the face of my YouTube channel, it's called Criminal Summoning, which is used to psychologically torture. It's used to threaten. It's used to retaliate. It's used to psychologically torture as an entity. It's used to threaten kidnapping and actually commit kidnapping as an entity. And every single last actor in that playlist is going to prison. And the entity is engaging in this while they are literally triggered by my evidence. And that is speaking to the truth of what I speak. That's speaking to the power of the evidence that I have published online. And it is also directly debunking that you will ever defame as a means of defending the fact that you are stalking an American citizen. They literally are proving that they're stalkers in this. And this is also why you are in the courts conducting any hearings while I've been being gang stalked. I want you to know your names and your identities because you're going to prison. I cannot make that any clearer for you. You are going to federal prison. You were never holding any legitimate court hearings, and it shall be understood that no government will engage in with the things that you have done, and stating that you didn't know and that you could have better handled is not a defense when someone's life is on the line. Just like this is demonstrating, just like the gang stalkers of the military are demonstrating, you are going to prison, and you know who you are. This is the POC. While I publish evidence on the internet and I'm subject to this terrorism, criminal acts committed against me by the government, you are going to prison. And this is why you don't gang stalk with a bunch of sociopaths that don't have self-control when the plan goes awry, because you're going to be prosecuted for it. You're holding hands with maniacal psychopaths who lack self-control in order to protect you from not going to prison. You cannot protect them from going to prison, and they are certainly not protecting you. This is the POC. It is currently 10:26 p.m. This is retaliation. Okay, this is a drug addict. He's going to prison. And he's gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. He doesn't have anywhere to go and no future. This is why he's engaging in it in the first place. He's digging in the trash can with a flashlight because he's a demon monitoring. He's doing so while he is gang stalking. The Ontario Police are driving through the center while he's sitting on the floor in between two columns where, how do you even notice him? Well, his head is bent down. They're focusing on me. But I just want to show you the unnatural circumstances where they go to that instance. And this is a mentally ill psychopath. This is a demon that's engaging in what is monitoring while he's homeless. Another one that cannot wash his behind, and he's stalking another person. Okay. And this is the entity that's doing so as a population of stalkers. That's the people of the state. All right, that's POC. This is the entity that's engaging in what is threats. The Ontario Police and Mike LORENZ are threatening me, and they're doing so while they're going to prison for that. You're going to prison while you're bearing a gun, driving around in a city vehicle, acting as though you have authority under the law. That was the fictitious exercise of authority, as though you're a legitimate police officer. You're not. You're gang stalking. And even when you talk to the people of the state next to me, that is a threat. And the federal government is you're going to prison. And you that are calling yourself holding court hearings, that's why I'm outside right now, you're going to prison. That's what you need to understand the Ontario Police, the U.S. military, the people of the state accomplish for you. That's the criminal conspiracy to engage in what is federal group stalking and monitoring and further into murdering somebody. And where you thought that the perfect plan is to just delay and prolong and stall while someone is gang stalked to death, someone is gang stalked into a cell, a facility, you're going to prison for it. Okay, this is POC. It is currently 10:27 p.m. That's POC. This is the environment where they are under the fake moon and they're engaging in that which is not pursuant to some drug addict that's passed out between the columns. This is the entity which we already know they know where I'm sleeping. We already know that. Everybody knows where I'm sleeping. They know that you're monitoring my vagina. You're not doing anything other than criminal activity. You're stalking. All right? You're not police officers. You're stalkers. And you've committed series of kidnappings, and that documented threat is why you are going to prison. This is POC. It is currently 10:28 p.m.